All right. So hi guys. So thank you.
Hi guys.
Hi guys. Thank you so much for tuning in for our sending us all those more than 60 questions. Thank you once again for your continued support. And we have limited time, so we are not going to read all those more than 60 questions, but I read every single one of them and I compiled them into categories so that we can actually touch bases on all the topics that you guys have brought up. So the way we're going to run the AMA is that I am going to ask James questions run by topics, and then afterward, we're going to pick up a couple questions from the community, and also I am going to end the session with announcement. All right, and so without the further ado, let's begin. All right.
Okay, let's get started.
Okay, let's get started. So I have a script because you guys have so many questions.
Mhm.
All right, so first stop is that obviously about our new direction.
Okay.
So James, in the early Q1 2020, we announced in our blog the new direction as to pursuing the DeFi market. The community is obviously interested to know some details regarding the plans. Can you tell the community about the tentative launching date and maybe its scalability? And maybe perhaps you can comment on potential plans to diversify the service maybe outside of the ETF. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
We are aiming to launch our DeFi service sometime in Q2. And our solution is designed and to expand to include other asset classes such as physical asset, stock and bond, and so on. However, we will only handle crypto asset in initial phase, as no licensing is needed for us, EdenChain, to loan funds when assets are limited to crypto asset. Okay.
Okay, that's thank you. I'm so sorry. I am having trouble with the chatting box. Let me just do something. Now I can see the chatting box. All right, thank you.
And our service will begin as index funds. That means participation opportunity can be limited in beginning. We believe the performance of our model would first need to be proven by its data before going completely public. And once the performance is proven, then we can which are simply index funds modified for each buy and sell.
Oh, I see. Oh, by the way, guys, what I'm doing here is I'm checking the chatting box. So if you guys are wondering like what Esther is doing, that's what I am doing. All right.
And all these are in line with our goal of making our passive investing solution the best of its kind. Therefore, we currently do not have any plan to diversify the types of DeFi services we provide, as we would rather focus and specialize.
Oh, thank you very much. All right. So the community was also wondering, well, since it's DeFi and it's about finance, does EdenChain have any plan to forge meaningful partnership with the traditional banks? And what's your take on that?
Okay. Crypto assets are now getting more awareness from the traditional finance. Nevertheless, these assets as a class have been poorly recognized by the legacy finance. The timing is premature for crypto derivative service to forge a meaningful partnership with the traditional banking system when the basic assets are yet poorly recognized. However, we do have exciting ideas for partnership once we successfully launch the MoA proprietary fund for 6 months to 1 year.
Oh, I see. I'm going to ask you to go into details about the new plans, but before that, speaking of which, the partnership, maybe we can touch bases on what we're going to do with the ones that we have already formed. So can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with the existing partnerships?
We do keep good relationship with our partners, and however, the technology is still in nascent period, and many of partners are experiencing hurdle in terms of blockchain adoption. Also, the regulation and infrastructure are still in want to facilitate the easy onboarding by enterprises. The same goes for the gaming industry. At the moment, there are no critical reason for gamers to switch from their current platform to blockchain ones. The clear and big market demand for DeFi is the one of the reasons we decided to pursue this direction.
I see. All right. Well, also the communities, speaking of partnership, is very interested to know any updates from the Busan Initiative. Any comment on that?
Okay. We are making the conscious effort, and there are some movement is going on. And we will share the news when it's ready. So stay tuned.
All right. So, you like earlier on, like a few minutes ago, you spoke a little bit about the new idea as to what we're going to do with the DeFi and then ideas for new partnership.
Okay.
And I think now that we covered what we have done and what's going on, and it's the perfect time for the future plan. So can you tell us a little bit about like what your ideas in terms of DeFi partnership?
Okay. Let me first give example as to what we can do once we collect enough data to prove the performance of one pro-priority fund. The first, we can run the MoA like traditional bank by offering a fixed annual return. We can set the interest rate based on the data we collect. And second, we can turn the index fund into ETF, making it easy to buy and sell. And we can then limit EDN as the only form of payment we receive when buying our ETF. And this way, we can expand the number of DeFi company onboarding with our token, as well as increase our EDN usability.
I see.
And third, as the DeFi market expands, there will be other companies offering their version of indices and funds. We can partner with them by having their ETF listed on MoA or vice versa. This way, we can expand our partnership among the DeFi market.
Okay. You know, thank you so much. And that actually is very exciting plans. And what brings me to think is that since what you are saying is collaborating with other DeFi service and companies are going to be the main source of revenue for EdenChain, I think this is going to be the perfect spot to ask this question brought up by one of the community members. And the question was pretty long, so I'm just going to read it. All right, it goes. When it comes to DeFi, most protocols are Ethereum based. Will you still continue with the token swap with ERC20 to native token, even as EdenChain is pursuing the DeFi market? There is an obvious advantage of staying in as an ERC20 for the easier adaptation by other services. If you migrate to the native token or coin, what is your plan for the integration with existing DeFi protocols? This is some heavy and loaded question. Can you perhaps answer with your insight? Thank you.
Okay. First of all, thanks for asking the sharp question. It's a really good question. And frankly speaking, I have been long considering about the good timing for token swap because of integration with existing DeFi protocol for future expansion of MoA. The token swap was scheduled was made 18 months ago. At the time, the market condition and sentiment were pretty much different compared to current situation. And we eagerly anticipated the real use cases of blockchain, and furthermore, the government's warm gesture toward blockchain as well as crypto asset. But as we all know, there was no big change in the blockchain industry, including game, which was supposed to be the killer deal. The only exception was DeFi. The DeFi is the rising star. We can verify it through various statistics information. And the DeFi is getting bigger and bigger. The trend will remain for a long period of time, and DeFi is an outcome of integration among a DeFi protocol. As more DeFi protocol emerge, the market size as well as business opportunity are bigger because the famous network effect will work.
I see.
And given the situation, my worry is that the token swap is going to challenge EDN integration with existing DeFi protocol because DeFi protocol are based on Ethereum. The EDN could not be integrated into existing DeFi protocol directly after token swap. So this is not good for the future of MoA. And once the new DeFi service prove its value, the next step is clearly to expand its business by integrating with the existing DeFi protocols.
Yeah, of course.
And I have been talking to exchange for token swap, and I found no major issue there. When I considering two options, the first option is do the token swap, and the second one is delay the token swap. It's very clear for me which option is beneficial to Eden's future. And anyway, this is a very important issue to be addressed, and I will share my thinking on the token swap soon.
Thank you very much. That brings me to think that, well, if you're saying that our EdenChain's main source of revenue is integrating and working in partnership with the other DeFi services, that brings me to think that the token swap and Masternode doesn't need to happen one next to each other, since Masternode, the timing is about market traction. So, which is also one of the questions that the community member was brought. So could you tell us a little bit about that? So my question is, and the community's question is, what's this? Let me read it. So is the token swap and Masternode going to happen one next to each other? What's going to be the timing of it? And are those independent of each other or not? Yes.
Okay. Many platforms schedule token swap and the staking program next to each other. However, in our case, this is not required. There's no technical or logistical dependency between them. So the best timing for both of them is when it is most advantageous for the company and the investor.
I see.
As such, if we stay in the years 20, it's more advantageous and create more traction for businesses, then we can start Masternode program first. Then do the token swap at the right point.
Oh, it's good to know that they're actually flexible. I see. So if that's the case, then will there be update on the rule as to how the Masternode program is going to be governed? Well, because a lot will be changed.
Yes, we want to make sure that node holder of their revenue. We will be updating the rule so that it will be in line with the current business direction.
Thank you very much. I see. And so the next obvious topic will be the strong marketing push, because it's related to the market traction. And so the community was wondering, do we have any plan for a strong paid marketing push? And what's your take on that?
Okay. We are not opposed to doing the paid marketing. However, we believe that the timing matters a lot. We are going to plan one in line with the product development schedule. For now, we are going to focus on creating the best product. On that note, we want to say that we much appreciate the community support during this time. We plan to show our appreciation to those dedicated community members by creating a thanks page inside the MoA DF.
Oh, the updated one, the coming one?
Yes,
Oh, I see.
And please note that your opinion do not go unnoticed. And we are listening to your voice to create the best product on the market. And we are monitoring great ideas from communities, including marketing idea to product features. And your opinion did shape the design and the planning of our new service.
I see. I'm excited to see what the thank you page will look like, in my personal opinions. All right, and the community was also wondering, James, since we have switched direction to one and only De-Fi, what is going to become of Dorothy? Yes.
That is also very interesting question. And as we mentioned before, we are going to focus on all our resources in one service, that is MoA portfolio solution. Along that vein, we plan to adjust the content to fit the need for De-Fi user.
All right, specialize and focus all the way.
Yes,
I
that's
see
right. The De-Fi is the new direction.
I see, okay. All right, thank you so much for the clarification. And let's move on to the next topic, which is exchanges. A few community members were wondering if we have any plan to list EDN on either Korean exchange or overseas. What is your answer to that?
Okay. Now, unlike the earlier sentiment in the market, where more listing equate to greater success of the project. And things have changed a lot since then. At this point, we do not plan to list any more exchanges. Instead, we will be focusing on our resource on getting the best De-Fi index model that will increase the revenue of EDN holder and the node holders.
I see. All right, so for the last question, there were a couple questions regarding the roadmap. One regarding the roadmap for the EdenChain as a company, and also for asking for your insight on what you think of where the market is going to go in the next 1 to 5 years. So could you comment on those?
Okay, this is a somewhat tough question to answer, but let me share my view on the roadmap and the future of blockchain. As for the company's roadmap, the De-Fi market has shown a huge growth rate. The market is also big in the billions. And we will do our best to please continue support our project. In terms of market projection, here are my insight. A strong market driver for mass blockchain adoption will be IoT. The IoT environment needs blockchain technology for sure because of the public exposure of its device and automated service. In IoT environment, IoT device is accessible to anyone. So that means the possibility of being hacked is higher than the legacy environment. Okay.
Checking tally. All right.
With the legacy technology, the preventing such hacking is possible, but it costs too much time and money. Whereas the blockchain technology can solve the problem. Actually, it was born for that. In IoT environment, the transaction will be automated. We are not supposed to do manual transaction processing as we do now. And technically, that is not possible. And automatic processing requires complex and secure transaction among service providers. And for the system to work, we should be able to trust the processed data as a guarantee there is no data manipulation. The blockchain technology can achieve this with grace.
I see.
The legacy environment works so well, so far as every system is designed and developed to be aligned with it. As such, we have no serious problem living in this environment. This is the big reason why I think the IoT environment will be a savior of blockchain technology.
I see.
And IoT is a new environment, hence it needs new technology. But I am not saying that blockchain technology is not valuable until IoT comes. What I'm telling you is that the major advantages What I am telling you is that the major adoption needs new environment. Even so, we will definitely begin to see diverse industry introducing blockchain technology into their fabrics.
I see.
And for DeFi, I have a very positive view regarding its future, as DeFi was born out of the natural desire, the shared among crypto asset holders. The crypto asset holder wants to invest, manage, and utilize crypto assets. DeFi enables just that. Therefore, as long as the crypto asset exists, DeFi will last. And ultimately, I think the DeFi will show a market pattern similar to that of a traditional finance market. As I mentioned earlier, investors of any asset share fundamental desire, and they are to invest, manage, and utilize their asset. Case in point, we witnessed the huge growth in lending and borrowing since last year. When we benchmark the pattern, we have seen from the legacy finance world, the next big thing will be portfolio management by the system rather than people.
Oh, I see. So which is why we're going into the direction of portfolio management for the crypto assets.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. All right, thank you so much. And so as I promised, we are going to do our best to cover all the topics brought up in those questions that received. And besides all the topics that we have already covered, I have here a question regarding nodal security in terms of running the fund. And what we want to tell you is, because the way the index fund is going to be run, the node participation is not required. So for that, security is not an issue. And I also wanted to tell you that we are going to offer some really high quality security features with the upcoming MoA DApp, and that you need to stay tuned. All right, and then another question was, will the ETF will be listed through IPO, ICO, or IEO? And I just wanted to tell you that the index funds and ETF are not like it doesn't get listed on exchanges the way the stock gets listed. So there won't be a process similar to IPO, ICO, or IEO because of just the fundamental differences in terms of the structures and what it is. And so I am, now that we're doing this on YouTube live, going to take some questions. And just to let you know that it's much easier for me to take questions on tele if you guys are on tele, because but I don't see any questions for now. So if you have any questions, this is time to shoot the question, guys. Hi, Dawn. Great answer so far from James. Yes, Dawn. Hi, Esther. All right, I'm reading you guys. So questions, guys? Questions?
Okay, so we are waiting for your questions.
I'm waiting for your questions. Antele, question. Did you just say that the world would be security with? Oh, yes. Okay, I get the question. So yes, we're going to add a whole lot more security features with the upcoming MoA 2.0.
Yes, that's right. In upcoming MoA security system, everything is encrypted, and we try to minimize the possibility of being hacked. And after releasing upcoming MoA, our CTO is going to release the details of the security, how we secure the transaction and account and so on. So when you read the technical details of a new and updated security system, you feel very safe and secure.
Okay, so let me just move up close to this screen. I think there was a question here. Has the idea of being private blockchain for business now been shelved? I see. So I think I can answer that question. So we're still business centric, but we're just gearing it to the DeFi services, right?
That's right. Before 2020, our focus is to try to introduce many enterprises as possible. But As I explained before, there are some technical hurdles as well as government issue. So we try to narrow down the target enterprise, that is DeFi related one. So once the company wants to utilize crypto asset and so on, then we will be the perfect partner to provide such kind of feature. So I would say that it's a focus, a select and focus.
All right. All right. Okay. So Simon, we have covered that in earlier on the Sandbox regulatory system. We are working closely with them, which is another name for that is the Busan Initiative, by the way.
That's right.
So you need to stay tuned. We are going to release the news when it's ready.
Mhm.
And when can we expect the first ETF to be launched? So we are going to first begin our service as an index fund, like we shared earlier on, so that we can first collect enough back data to prove the efficacy and the performance of it before going in public. I think that's what we should do, right? How do we ask you to buy ETF before you know the performance? So you need to first see that it works. Then you would want to buy. So that's why. And yes, and then Pepito, I think James just answered that question regarding or do we plan to partner with the other DeFi enterprises?
Mhm.
So I am waiting on Sven's question. I can see the ... running rapidly.
Mhm.
So I think perhaps we can take Sven's questions and okay. While I'm waiting, I will. Oh, okay, there you go. Would there be other kinds of funds on MoA?
Other kinds of fund. I cannot fully understand the meaning of your question. So
What would that mean? I mean, obviously, we'll be having our proprietary fund,
yes,
and
index
then
and ETF.
ETF, managed funds, sort of thing.
Managed fund. Actually, the index fund and ETF fund is a sort of managed fund because there are some model or rule to follow, and based on that model, we will manage the fund. So we just not let the fund managed by itself. So it's a managed fund, but the way of managed fund is somewhat different because we will use the passive investment. That means we will create a sort of index, and the fund is supposed to follow the index. And that is how we manage the fund.
All right. So the next question, will you be looking to expand the team in numbers once the ETF starts to run?
This is a very obvious question to answer. Yeah, if there's a need, then we will increase the number of employees in our team. That is for sure. In traditional finance, the sentiment, the period for proving performance of this fund is at least 6 months. So we may see the reliable data in Q4, I guess. And if the proprietary fund performance is good, then we will actually hire new people and try to expand business partnership as well as users.
All right. All right. So I think this question, to follow this up, is it technically possible to create an ETF that can be traded with leverage and rebalanced daily? So that's the first question. The second question is, there are S&P 500 ETFs with these properties that provide dramatic outperformance of the market without the risk of getting margin called. I think this is what we are doing pretty much, right?
Okay, so let me answer to the first question.
I mean, I guess the question is only one question.
One question.
Yes, so pretty much, is it technically possible to create an ETF that can be traded with leverage and rebalanced daily?
Yes, that is very possible because ETF is following the rule I created. So that is very possible. But too many rebalancing and leverage will harm the performance of proprietary funds. So it must be the balanced and choose the rebalancing time seriously.
Yeah. All right, I think I'm going to take the last two questions that are being typed right now, one from Ben and one from Tones. And I am going to then make an announcement and we can wrap this up. Take your time, guys. All right, my tele is going. Okay. But by the way, thank you guys for tuning in. I know that this is a really odd time for some of you guys. All right, Tons, you said earlier on in the AMA, the option was to do a token swap or delay. What about a third option to let people use MoA to get mainnet tokens when they want while keeping the ERC20 for trading and DeFi purpose?
Okay. So that is also in my head when I'm considering the token swap. Using two tokens, one native token and the ERC20 token, that is technically possible. But the problem is the resource required to manage those two coins require a lot. That is the problem. Yes. We need one server for ERC20 and another server for EDN native coins. So I don't see big value in it because we spend more money for servers and more people for managing those two, the token. So I don't think that is a good option to take.
Yeah, especially when our focus is to secure good revenue stream, which will be shared among the masternodes eventually.
Yeah, that's right. And also the security issue, because we have two systems running independently. Okay. And also we need to develop some kind of the glue which integrate those two systems.
Oh, I see. And this is a good one. Who do you see as your strongest competitor within the DeFi market since your vision is to become number one?
That is the interesting question.
Yes.
And this is this is a very broad question to answer because DeFi has many market segments, like account management and banking, lending, growing, and trading, and custody, and portfolio management, and so on. So, and that is very hard to answer. But from my perspective, we want to be number one in portfolio management. And in my knowledge, there are very few the competitor in this segment. And if you force me to pick the one most strong, the competitor will be the Grayscale. The Grayscale, they have been managing the Bitcoin Trust since 2018, and their performance is quite good. And also, they showed very impressive revenue stream. So I want to beat the Grayscale and try to make more profitable than the Bitcoin Trust.
All right. So I was going to cut that question here. So AI, I can answer this question regarding the ETF. How does holding EDN help an investor? Will ETF funds require purchase EDN to participate? Yes, that's the direction that we want to take. We actually covered that earlier on. So I'm going to, by the way, post this AME session on YouTube. So if you somehow missed the first half or not, you can always go back and listen to it. All right, on that note, I think I can wrap up the question and answer session. And there's one question that I have yet to cover, which was, hey team, do you guys have any plan to run an AMA on other community besides the EDEN, yeah, right? Yeah, so that question, this is also a segue into announcement. We do plan on holding an AMA with Games community. And so I am running the conversation actively on the behind, and I am going to post the announcement as soon as the detail is all ironed out. And at the end of the AMA with Games community, we are going to hold an event, which also detail will be released later on, what I want to tell you is that we designed a special gift for that.
Wow.
Yeah, for that one. Yeah, I did. I mean, I did it, but our design team, the one that draws all the cute pictures. I don't know if you guys have gone to our MoA website, the new MoA.Network. There's a blog, and inside the blog, there is a new character we introduced whose name is Nugget. And we created a limited quantity of some goods with the character, and we're going to actually create a physical gift, and then we're going to ship it to you for the winner of the event. And it's going to start after we finish the AMA with Games community, so you can stay tuned with that. Our plan was to actually wear that today, but that didn't happen. So,
that's too bad.
That's too bad. You could have seen it earlier on, but I will make sure to keep you guys updated on that. On that note, I think this is a good time to wrap up. Thank you so much for tuning in on our AMA. We understand the hours all over the map, as our communities are global community, and so I really appreciate you coming in. And please continue support EdenChain, as we're going to be the #1 in our DeFi industry. And thank you so much for answering all those questions.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you guys for awesome questions. And we'll see you guys sometime later, right?
Probably. With the performance data of one
That'll be great.
fun.
Yes, that'll be great. And we can all celebrate together.
Okay.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you for your time. Okay.
Now I'm gonna see my. All right, there you go.